such a good feeling. It makes me wanna get up and dance. Nothing inside to hold me back. Now is the time to take my stance. I feel as if I'm liberated. My whole body is now elevated. I just want to have a good time. The atmosphere lets me to incline. Because I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling the rhythms in my soul. I wanna get loose. The music is driving me in this mood. And now I'm feeling so good. So good. So good. There's no need to construe. Cause I'm feeling so good. I'm on top of the moon.
Grenada.
Get ready as the new national party invites all to its 40th anniversary fundraising bingo event. Sunday, July 14th from 5 p.m. at Victoria Park, Grenville. Over $100,000 in cash and prizes to be won. Imagine you can win a Suzuki Ignis hybrid car, $50,000 in cash, plus other fantastic prizes. Tickets are $60 for one or $100 for two. Free buses will be available island-wide. Don't miss it, or you might just see your neighbor driving a Suzuki Ignis. Sunday, July 14th, we're heading to Victoria Park in Grenville for the new national party 40th anniversary fundraising bingo.
So good, so good. There's no need to construe, cause I'm feeling so good. I'm on top of the moon. The temperature is rising high, and everyone is just having fun. The only thing left for me to do, get in the act and boogie down. I find myself dancing in the street, no one could get me off my feet. I'm in the midst of the action, riding a wave of seduction, because I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling the rhythms in my soul. I wanna get loose. The music is driving me in this mood, and now I'm feeling so good, so good, so good. There's no need to construe, cause I'm feeling so good. I'm on top of the moon. And now I'm feeling so good, so good, so good. And now I'm feeling so good, so good. This is what we call love way. I remember when I was young, love and music was something I owned. Needless me to say, that was the music of the day. They used to play a nice melody in G, but that was the sweetest thing for me. And when the song of the banjo hit the air, that was all the people want to hear. Listen to the sound of the banjo, an emulation of Deep Moses. Played by Carnival. Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. Do you hear banjo? I remember those glory years. Love when music was met with great cheers. No one can deny that the standard was very high. And when you hear Christmas day comes around, look out for your name in the song. With all them women singing, party time, all are we dancing. Yeah, Quattro. Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. You tell Getting in the vibes that have me hypnotized. I went and I did my research. I want to caution my approach. Names like Moses, Feeling Charles, Champion, so much to mention. These men kept the culture and pass it on to us with pleasure. We are soldier, we are Toba, Maracas. There must be something catchy in the song that have me singing along. I feel like I'm out of control. The music hitting up me soul. So rhythmic, so dynamic, simple strings that's so pulsating. Love when music teaser, you can ask for anything sweeter. You hear banjo to keep you in the mood. Move your feet, move your waist, your body, sweet music in the place. You can stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? Like when none of us don't really know. Take a grind, take a wine. Take a good grind. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? Like when music.
And good night. Let me just pull this out. The special good night to each and every one of you. Hope that you're having a fabulous night tonight. And of course, it is Talking Points.
Time, let's go! Yes, you left you on the light. Now you're back to enjoy the
My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
sight. You waited and waited for so long for this day to come. Now that we together, we can party forever. It's amazing. Life is worth living. I guess I know how you feel. All the fun you won't miss it, lady.
Just was wondering what's going on here.
Come let me dance. Get on.
And of course, a special good night to those of you joining us via We Noise Radio 94.9 out there in Brooklyn.
Some more of your drilling. We need some more of your dancing.
My good friends on the Facebook, let me see who's there. Landa Ragba Singh, Walan Aqua, Dennis Fabio, Yvonne Courtney, good night to you. And let me say a special good night to Anne-Marie, Yvonne, Merrill, the entire squad. Let me give you all a big up early because I will get in trouble. So I'm saying it. A special good night to each and every one of you, huh? Yeah. And let me see Yvonne Courtney, Figgy. Yeah, good night to you.
So you can't switch, but it's all
Yeah, Figgy Lewis, good night to you.
I know that you want to recover.
Good night to you, Norma Roberts, Sherms Houston. Let me see who else is there. Dennis Fabio, Vintris, good night to you.
For this day to come.
Maudlin Bartholomew, Teresa Gill, Anna Lois, Jessie Sherry, Cicely Celestine, Etta Batiste, Peter Stryker, Lois Olive McQueen, Charmaine Ragbasing, Claude Abraham, bro, what's up? I hope all you're taking all your liquids and so that kind of heater here, you know. Sherry Lambert, Nicole Ewing, John Mark, Tegwa, good night to you. Charmaine Thomas, Wallen Aquat, Errol Bonaparte, Louise Pascal, Teresa Colombo, Cynthia B, Winnie Simon, good night to each and every one of you. Shemi, good night to you. Joan Henry, Esther Peters, good night. Jill Williams, good night.
Give it up. I think stop. No. Party time. Oh yeah. You're the life of the party now, and you've got everybody on the.
And all of you under the YouTube. Debbie Seals, good night.
But it's over an hour, and I know that you.
Teresa, Joseph, Agnes, Henry, Francis, George, Alban Harris. Alban!
Remember, I'll be waiting.
Anne-Marie Celestine, Grant, Kathleen Ledlow, Sandra Joseph.
The night is full of excitement. Let's
Errol, good night to you, bro.
light up the party. Come let me dance.
Hey, you in one too, brother? Hey.
Take over.
You have to put up the volume, you know.
We need some more.
I had to take that one from the top there, you know. John Stafford, good night to you. Ruth Chitterman, Listra Abraham, Lona Lolo Williams, Deborah Laborde, and Andrews, Janice Mitchell, Osbert, James, Jackie, Raymond, Michelle Alexander, Jesse Sherry, Michelle Alexander, let me see, Faitlin, Hallie Douglas, Baby Daddy, Good Life, and Natalia, good night to you, Kathleen, Gloria Francois, Carib Spice, Witness, Julian Coban, Velma Pascal, Cindy Thomas, Charmaine Thomas, Sherma Alexander, Merle Patrick, Meryl Holder, Ruth Chitterman, Anna Lewis, Eliza Bernard, Bernadette Joseph, Patsy Frank, Sherma Jeremiah, Zayla, good night to you, my dear. Matthew Bowen, Zoe, good night to you. Gillian Cobham, Miriam Samuel, Earl Benjamin, Red Girl Pascal, Adrian Watts, good night to you and your lovely wife, my brother. Christine Otley, Hermina Batiste, Oswald Belfon, Hilary Joseph, Carl Jones, Rosalind Jones, Shrajan, John Phyllis Mitchell, Jerome Lewis, Brandon John, Rodney Barry, Unison, Joseph Stephen Simon, Brandon Joseph, Chris London, Jenny Samuel, I see you there.
Yes, you can take a break, but when it's over, just remember I'll be waiting to start the party.
So yeah, folks, let's see the numbers going up. Just here, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We have a lot to speak about tonight, yeah? Yeah, we ain't come for music. We come to talk. It's talking points, not music points.
More of that thrilling. We need some more. More of that dancing. We need some more. More of that sweet, sweet move. Long time I've not had such fun on a night. You are the reason the party is tight. So much of action, filled with attraction. The party is hot and no one wants to stop. Come let me dance. Get on. Take over the floor. No, they can't go. We need some more. More of that thrilling. We need some more. More of your dancing. Give us some more. We want some more. We need some more. We need some more.
Right, so I think everything is in place now. And as I said, a special good night to each and every one of you. Now, we are just a couple weeks away. Yeah, we're down to not months away right now. We're just weeks away from Carnival, right? Carnival 2024. And in interacting with people in different places, and also looking on social media and hearing some of the comments, especially comments by people who participate in Carnival. As we know, not everybody takes part in Carnival, you know. Some of the religious organizations, they actually organize and they head into a camp during that period of time. Or some people actually leave the island, go to other activities and so on. They don't want to be around during that Carnival time. But some of the people who actually take part in Carnival, the masqueraders, the people who play the traditional mass. And traditional mass is not just jab jab. We're speaking about the Vietcong, we're speaking about the Shortney, we're speaking about the Wild Indian, these sort of things. So I've been looking at the comments by many of these people and so on. And it seems as though there's a general malaise, a general belief like this thing isn't coming. Yeah? Because you're not getting the feeling that Carnival is coming. There's no energy. There seems to be no direction for Carnival 2024. Yeah? I think that some people may think, and I think it's probably, Anthony Togonite. I think some people probably believe that what is going to happen is that Carnival will happen regardless of. Honestly, I believe that is probably the mindset of some of these individuals. Don't worry about that. Carnival will happen no matter what. Because come the 2 days, people going to still put on the old oil and they go and play mass and they will go and play the flower mass and they will go and they will play jab and you're going to have jab in Tong and you're going to have jab in the various other locations around the island. So regardless of what takes place, that mass go play. And I think that some people are having that sort of mentality. And I'm speaking here directly to the Spice Mass board, the Spice Mass itself, the board of directors and Spice Mass. Because it seems as though the belief amongst these individuals is that don't worry, it go happen regardless of what. Don't worry, that it go take place. That seems to be the kind of attitude, that seems to be the kind of behavior that we're getting. For several weeks now, I've been having discussions with various persons. And as I say, I don't always say everything that I pick up immediately as I pick it up. Sometimes you build more information on it. And one of the things that I was picking up was some of the measures that are being put in place. And I need to say against, not necessarily to help, but against some of the mass bands and so. That you have these circumstances, you're telling them that what they're going to have to pay outside of a music truck. If they're having other trucks, they're going to have to pay, I think it's $5,000. They're going to have to fine and pay. And they're not allowed to have the truck that passes along with the portable toilets. They can't have that. So I don't know if what is going to take place is that we're going to have strategically located at various points along the route. If you're going to have some clusters of portable toilets that masqueraders will be able to utilize and so on. They can't have more than X amount of drinks trucks and all sorts of restrictions that are being put in place. One of the problems that you're having is that these restrictions, what you're hearing about there, they're coming about last minute. It's not things that a lot of people were hearing, well, since last year that you had a forum and you said, well, Spice Mass 2024, these are what we're going to be putting in place. Yeah? You also had them meeting, I think was over the weekend. They met with, over the weekend or Monday or so, they met with some of the promoters and various people, and a lot of the promoters are upset. I see Spice Mass putting out a thing saying that all the promoters are happy and they were glad for the interaction and so, but that's not what I'm picking up. Yeah? That's not what I am picking up. Because when you tell promoters that they can only have 2 foreign artists on their show anytime after the, I think it's from Carnival Thursday, yeah, that you could only have, so Carnival Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think up to the Thursday is okay, and then the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you can't have any more than 2 foreign artists, or 2, I more prefer to use the word regional artists, because for Grenada's Carnival, the artists that come into Grenada are regional artists. Yeah? Very, very rare. You may have somebody that comes from outside of the region. In fact, I can't point to any time that we had somebody that came from out of the region. You may have from Jamaica, you may have a dancehall or a reggae artist that comes in the midst of the carnival. It happens. Yeah, it happens. Some people don't agree with it, but we have to understand as well that there are several things at play here. When we look at the success of many of our local artists, many of our local artists' success is measured by their ability to go and perform in other countries, you know, and to go and perform in other places and on other shows. So when you hear that Skinny Banton, yes, showing from out there in Carriacou, when you hear Skinny Banton, ends up all the way in Japan and Korea performing. And it happens, he does. Grenada's own Skinny ends up all the way in Japan and Korea and so performing. Some places that they just have an energy, they love soca music, but that they also performing in the region. So when I go to St. Lucia and I'm in Rodney Bay, and there I am sitting at a bar in Rodney Bay, and you hear Laura Lisa tune playing. From years ago, you hear Laura Lisa music playing, you hear Skinny Banton music playing, you hear Mr. Killer music playing, while you're in St. Lucia. Or you're in Dominica and you hear the same thing. Or you go, you could go Bermuda, you go in any of the Caribbean territories and you hear that Mr. Killer gets the opportunity to go and perform in Jamaica, and nearly you name the carnival or the festival that they have in the Caribbean, they call for Hollis map out of Grenada, Mr. Killer. You just name the carnival in the region and they're calling for Mr. Killer. Yeah? So our artists get the opportunity to go and perform in other territories. And here we are talking about not letting, restricting other artists from other territories from coming into ours. How you think many of our artists make money? You think they make money here? Yes, somebody might have a show, Killer might have a show, Talpri might have a show. They might break even, they get a little bit by the time the Ministry of Finance step in and take their section in VAT. And by the time they pay service providers and so on, and they pay the artists, that the local artists and the international artists, by the time they do all of that, they have a look at something left in their hand, yes. But still, outside of that, they can't survive for the year like that. That is why many of these guys, be it Natty and Thunder, that you see Antigua, or you see them in Barbados, or you see them in Trinidad, or you see them even down in Guyana. The only place I don't think I see some of these guys so far is down in Suriname. But they get the opportunity to travel the region and perform. And that is what puts a little money into their pocket. And here it is. We are saying to the promoters, don't reciprocate. Yes, we understand the concept of trying to protect the mass, trying to protect the authenticity of Grenada's carnival and Grenada's music. We understand that. But we also have to understand that we are providing a product. Yeah? And we have to understand something here, you know. It's just something I'll talk about in a little while. I ain't think I'm ready to talk about it yet because I ain't find enough people there yet. Yeah? And folks, I ain't find I seen enough likes yet. When I see the likes reach 100, I might mention that one. But there are several aspects to this thing. Listen, Grenada is part of CARICOM. Grenada is part of CARICOM. You know what that means? Freedom of movement. That you, no government, because it can be challenged, can restrict a artist, a soca artist, any type of artist from traveling to our next territory and work. They don't need a work permit. Let me repeat. According to the treaty, CARICOM treaty, they don't even need a work permit. How are you going to bar them? How you are going to stop an artist that leaves Trinidad or leaves St. Vincent or leaves Jamaica and comes to Grenada during that period of time and decide that they're going and perform? How are you going and stop them? They have the legal right to come to Grenada and perform. But yet still you're telling your promoters you could only have 2 because you're trying to protect. Yes, if you want to put something in place to say that there's a bare minimum, the same way you put in minimum wage, you say, well, we're putting in a minimum wage for soca artists and performers in Grenada. If you want to do that, speak to the promoters and go that direction. Speak to the promoters, speak to the artists and their associations and their representatives, or speak to them and get to a point where you're saying, well, look, this is how much you can pay a guy under this amount for a show. And a 10-minute set is this, a 15-minute set is that. If he's doing a one tune, then the lowest rate is that, and so on. So you standardize things throughout the industry so that people know, well, okay, the baseline that I'm going to get is this. But you might have a person like Mr. Killer, the only non-Trinidadian to win the International Soca Monarch, who you can't pay at the same level as a new artist who might come out and might have a big tune, and the tune might take the whole place, it might take the whole region, but you can't pay them the same way you're going to pay Mr. Killer, because Mr. Killer is more experienced, he has a wider catalog, he's more of a pull, so you're going to pay him differently. But at least that you have a baseline that all artists can be paid with. But you can't come. In fact, let me pull something for you all, yeah? Let me pull up something for you all here. Because this is serious business. And especially with heads of government coming next week. Same CARICOM heads of government. The person who is taking over as the lead, the chair of the CARICOM, doesn't seem to understand that part of CARICOM involves freedom of movement for cultural artists and so on. So, in fact, let me pull this a little bigger so that you all can see what I'm speaking about here. Yeah? So this is on the CARICOM website itself. Yeah? It speaks to freedom, free movement of people. Right? So it means that within CARICOM, there's a certain level of freedom of movement. And let me just go down a bit here, because it goes to free movement of skills and labor. Yeah? It speaks to some of the different people, CARICOM nationals, who are graduates of recognized university. If you're a university graduate and you decide you want to leave here and work in Jamaica, Jamaica cannot say we don't want that individual. They have to allow you to enter because he's a member of CARICOM. Yeah? Artists. So be it Buju Banton or Beanie Man, and they want to perform in Grenada, Grenada cannot really tell that artist you can't perform unless there is something of a criminal nature involved. You cannot stop that person from coming here to perform. Right? So artists, musicians, sports people, media workers, nurses, teachers, artisans with a Caribbean vocational qualification, that's the CVQ, and holders of associate degrees or comparable qualifications. So people who are leaving TAMCC right now and have an associate degree, these individuals qualify to work in any CARICOM territory. Yeah? So there are various aspects, artists, right? And they speak here of visual artists, fine artists, costume builders, costume designers, fashion designers. These are people that you cannot stop from coming into Grenada, and Grenada and other countries cannot stop leaving Grenada and going to perform in their countries. So if the ruler of this country is about to become the chair of CARICOM next week, does not understand this concept, maybe he needs to speak to Dr. Patrick Antoine, or maybe he needs to find Mr. Oliver Joseph and have a chat about it, because it seems as though him and his government does not understand what they are doing. You can't block performance artists, dancers, actors, choreographers, directors, performance poets like Muta Baruka and them, storytellers, folk performers, puppeteers, all these different categories of people, yeah? Stage designers, all listening, musicians. You can't stop a singer, songwriter, band, orchestra leader. You cannot stop them from coming into Grenada. So explain to me, how are you going to be telling the promoters and them that they can't have more than two, we're saying foreign artists, but we know it's regional, because we don't have any Afrobeats artists and so coming in. If you're speaking about them, that's a different thing. If you want to limit the amount of foreign, extra-regional artists from coming in, and you say, well, okay, only one, so only Burna Boy and one more could come. I don't know them, so I wouldn't know. It's only Burna Boy I had to say about, right? If you want to limit that, that's one thing. But when it comes to CARICOM artists, you can't block them. So if Mr. is Kurt Ross, that's the gentleman, yeah, the one who does have the pure white, I think he's taken his name off of it right now, the pure white that taking place on Carnival Saturday. Yeah? He's the chairman. The person who does do pure white is the chairman. Is the chairman right now of the Spice Mass Corporation. Not the CEO, the chairman of the Spice Mass Corporation. For all intents and purposes holding that position, I would expect, I don't know if it has been done, that he has removed his name from the organization that holds pure white, because that would be a definite conflict of interest if he is holding the position of chairman of the Spice Mass Corporation, and while holding the position of Spice Mass Corporation chairman, that he is also having a show on Carnival Saturday. The same point in time that he has put in place measures to stop promoters from having more than two foreign artists. Yeah? It's the same chairman of the Spice Mass that had Jamaican artists going up in Moonlight City for how much years? In pure white. And remember, there's a difference between pure white and white in the moonlight. White in the moonlight was my good friend Nimrod Olivier. In fact, I still have his name saved as White in the Moonlight. My good friend Nimrod Olivier is White in the Moonlight. That you don't have that fete taking place now, but you have pure white. And pure white the chairperson of the Spice Mass Corporation, that is his show. If you take your name off, you take your name off. We don't know. I don't see a documentation, so I don't know if you take it. I know it's your show. And for years, you've been bringing Jamaican artists. They all of a sudden know. All of a sudden, and strange enough, the restriction is for during the period of time that he has his show. So that he's restricting the other artists, because Masabol Masakau, even if you take your name off, similar to what the Prime Minister has done with Mitchell and Partners, even if you take your name off of the documentation as the lead person, you put it in trust or whatever, you're still the financially beneficial owner. You're still the person that's earning money from that. Yeah? So meanwhile, while people asking, what's going on with Spice Mass? We haven't Spice Mass this year. How the place dead so? The same time, while you're doing that, you're putting things in place to ensure that other promoters that might be having a show, because I hear him talk, you know. I heard talk that there's a group of young men, Grenadians, who wanted to do a show. I'm not sure if they're still going to do it, who had planned to do a show on Carnival Saturday. That show is the show by Voicey. Yeah? Out of Trinidad. They have a name for it, is by Voicey or whatever. Yeah? So all the years that, or for the last year or so, or a couple years, Voice has been doing that show throughout different carnivals and throughout the region. And that show has been very successful. And from what I've been picking up, the intention was to do that show in Grenada on Carnival Saturday, the same day, with Pure White. And the indication by various individuals who I've spoken to, and belief by various individuals, is that they find it very suspicious that the measure that's being put in place will directly affect that show's ability to happen, because that Voicey show usually has a lot of the Trinidadian artists come up, and who come over from Barbados and who come from St. Vincent and so on. The hot artists throughout the region, they come together for that show. So that show would have been all of these artists with our local artists having the opportunity to perform with them. And that would take place on Carnival Saturday. But now with these measures being put in place, you're blocking it. But you're also allowing at the same time the show that is directly connected to Mr. Kurt Ross, who is the chairman. All you can't sue me because you know what I'm saying is true. Yeah? All you can't sue me because what I'm saying is true. So the show that is connected with the chairman on Carnival Saturday would not be affected if this falls in place and they and they end up in the situation where they have to cancel that show. Yeah, so these guys do easy, you know. These guys do easy. But I'm asking them, how do you stop a CARICOM national from coming and perform? Even if they're not advertised and they come and you're having the show and they go on the stage, what you going to do? You go take police and shut down the show? You go close down the facility? You tell everybody go? What you going to do? Well, if the promoters want to lie down and take it, that is their business. If the mass bands, because I'm hearing from one or two mass bands that they're not putting out a mass band. I know Helen Marie, I know she's doing the children's band. Usually by this time, if you're passing through town, you see Helen has her costumes up. I realize she's not doing the big one this year. Maybe her children may do their own thing. But as Helen Marie and Associates, Diane Appman, and some of the other mass bands, when they realize the fees that you're getting at $5,000 if you have to have an extra truck, you can't have the mobile unit for people to use if they need to use a restroom facility. You can't have that. You have one music truck. You can't have like one to the front, one to the back, different thing. You can't have all of that. So these restrictions are causing some of these people to say, you see me, I ain't taking part. And then it's when you come with the restrictions, you come last minute telling people these sort of things. The last minute thing. That is what a lot of people cannot take. And then you have the Prime Minister flip-flopping on the issue, and I listened to him today on Power. Yeah, Power FM, I listened to him when he was speaking with Aruna And I realized that he's doing one of his famous flip-flops. Yeah, just now, when it comes to this government and you hear about flip-flop, yeah, when you talk about flip-flop, you talk about this government because they flip-flop on nearly everything. And I don't know what's up with my machine tonight. It is just crawling. I don't know what's wrong with it. When I get home, I'll have to do a little checkout on this machine, man. Yeah, it's playing the fool tonight. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm telling you that I'm gonna play what the Prime Minister said here today in relation to the issue of having the artists and so having the other artists from other islands and so coming into Grenada. I'm gonna play what he was saying on the radio this morning.
I guess you would probably say that I'm supportive of what they're trying to do.
Most of the issue is that it seems like a 99th hour sort of thing, because you don't plan for Carnival today for tomorrow. Promoters don't get up this morning and say tomorrow.
Very fair point. And I would say, without compromising the situation, if a promoter can show that he contracted the artists and there are likely consequences in terms of financial, then I will certainly say that should be factored in and probably weigh in favor of the promoter. I always say
because you always have contracts.
Yeah. So I would say if you made a mistake, then you should err on the side of the person who's suffering from the mistake rather than trying to be wrong and strong. So if they did not put this out and people feel genuinely with sufficient time and people can demonstrate there's a risk of loss to them, then I think they should certainly err on the side of the person. And at least it would allow for flexibility and to show that we're not being dogmatic. But with a clear indication that that's the policy directive, so you know now, let's say the following year, we are likely to try and enforce it, because obviously, in a sense, we would have had a test run or a trial run.
Now, so you have the Prime Minister there basically saying that if a person, for instance, had foreknowledge, or a person had already booked the artist, so you already booked your 2 or 3, your Jamaicans and your others and so, if you've already booked, he's saying that it's going to be okay. Yeah? Once you could prove that if you pull out of that contract, there'll be financial consequences. In other words, you're going to lose your down payment or you're going to lose whatever and so. But that's kind of unfair, because if Pure White is having several artists from outside of Grenada, Pure White is connected to the chairperson of the Spice Mass Board, Spice Mass Corporation. The chairperson is directly involved in Pure White. And I'm not for or against. I've been to Pure White, I'm not against anybody's show. I'm just saying here that there's a direct conflict of interest. Because if that show has more than 2 regional artists or international artists on it, it is because Mr. Kurt Ross knew long before that they were going to put this particular thing in place. So now they could use that the Prime Minister has said that, hey, if you had your thing organized before, you won't get away with it. Yeah, we go allow all you. Yeah, but this is the person who is taking over CARICOM next week for a 6-month period. We know it's a rotating thing. Every 6 months, the person who is in charge of CARICOM, it changes, it rotates. So it is Grenada's turn right now. So Mr. Deacon Mitchell will be taking up the position of chair of CARICOM next week. Yeah. Yeah, he's taking up the position of the chair of CARICOM next week. And due to that is why you see certain things happening to her. Don't think they're fixing the roundabout, because as they give you to believe, them big truck and them can't make it round the roundabout and the wheels sticking when they're trying to go round the roundabout. Don't believe that they're patching the road inside True Blue because they so care about the residents and the workers and the people who utilize the True Blue Road. They're fixing it because of CARICOM. The CARICOM leaders going to have to pass on the roundabout and go into True Blue. So they're making sure and nice up the roundabout, and they're making sure and nice up the True Blue Road, because the heads of government going to be passing through there. That is why they're doing it. It is not because they so care about the Grenadian people. It is not because they care about the big trucks that have to pass around the roundabout. In fact, they're having a whole ceremony to rename that roundabout the CARICOM roundabout next week. So it's not about any beautification. It is not about, oh, we care and it is because we're trying to help the drivers who are going along that way. They're not fixing the True Blue Road because they care about SGU or SGU students or the workers who work down in the various places down inside there, or even the residents who live down inside there, or the people who visit the facilities down there. They're not fixing the True Blue Road because of that. They're fixing it to take shame out of their eye. When the CARICOM heads of government come and they have to pass down there, they want to make sure they have a smooth ride going down there. Don't be surprised over the weekend you see the patching one or two other places in Grenada and Calice and those areas, so you see the patching here and there. They're going to be doing it. Yeah? They're going to be doing it. So don't give us the kind of thing is because you care and you're working so hard that you're fixing these things. Just tell us straight, hey, CARICOM leaders coming, we fixing the thing because they coming. Yeah? Just tell us straight. You are doing what you're doing in relation to Spice Mass, and it's not because you care so much about local artists, but because some individual in Spice Mass can possibly have their own personal agenda as to why they do not want all those artists and them to come. Yeah? Voicey coming with the Fed. Voicey was supposed to be coming with the Fed. I don't know if they still go do it or if they won't do it. But you can't stop them from coming if they come in here. They are artists. CARICOM, CSME, you can't stop them from coming. Stop talking stupidness to the Grenadian people. If all you don't know the law, all you're supposed to be lawyers, but if you don't know the law, ask a question. Them boy and them should sue all you. Yeah. They should sue all you. Because you can't stop them. Right? Yes, they would have to apply for a work permit and that kind of thing. But you really can't stop them from performing. And in fact, I think one of the things that is supposed to be discussed, is the removal of the work permit. Let me take a call. I see someone calling. Let's take a call. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Good night, my brother. What's up?
Hey, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine. I have a genuine question for you tonight. I don't know if it will pick your brain.
No problem, man.
Okay, from the 8th to the 13th of August, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you properly explained, we're in CARICOM, and you know we're one market basically, right? I don't know all the intricacies, but anyhow, from the 8th to the 13th. Now, if you have somebody from, let's say, from Jamaica or from Haiti to Trinidad, and they specialize in, let's say, construction, something in construction, an expert plumber, so they can't work between 8 to the 3rd, because I'm saying that because I'm classing that skill in the same way I would class an artist. You understand? Coming to work, because it's work we're talking about. So if I am an artist in Jamaica and I decide I'm going to reach out to Sheldon or reach out to anybody to sing in Grenada between the 8th and the 13th, and I'm being turned down because of this. Now, my question is, does what SMC put out, does that trump the rights to freedom of movement and the right to work within the CARICOM region? Thank you very much.
All right, my brother. Thank you. No, listen, the law in relation to this thing is very, very clear. We have a regional agreement. Yeah? There are various categories of workers, qualified, artists, etc., that are allowed. And in fact, you can take your NIS payments from Grenada and you go to another island and you start to live there and you start to work there, and your NIS payments can be transferred from Grenada to that other island. So you become part of their pension scheme or their NIS plan or whatever they have. You can take your payments from Grenada, you could go there. Yeah? You are allowed to move your family, and your family, according to CARICOM, are allowed to have the same benefits as if they were here in Grenada. The same benefits if you move to St. Vincent. They are allowed to have the same benefits as a Vincentian. They are allowed to have the same benefits. That is what CARICOM and the CSME and all this thing is about. But it seems as though the incoming chairman, don't know. It seems as though he don't know. So you coming and talking about stopping people from coming in? No. Part of what is helping our artists, to develop, is the fact that they get to go and perform elsewhere too, you know. You know how much countries Hollis map Mr. Killer, make them people go and take up the people fence and go and stand up on it and surf the crowd. You know how much countries he do that in? You know how much times he do it in different countries? So when you trying to treat them away and they start to treat your artists away because there are consequences to your actions, when they decide that they are going to reciprocate that sort of behavior, so the Skinny Banton and the Natty and Thunder and the Mr. Killer and all the other artists who, when they have some big songs, they get a little blind outside, they get called for a show, and even if it's not in the region, but at some of the promoters who may not be Grenadian, but they're operating in North America. They may be in Canada. They may not be Grenadian, but they're operating, and they say, well, let me call two of the Grenadian artists up along with some from St. Vincent and so on. They may be operating as far afield as in, well, I don't know if there's a soca show in China. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Boss, I apologize for calling back. Something come to my mind. Okay, I'm reading the thing here and they say non-national, right? What if 5 other artists I'm going to book for my show, they were born Grenadians, but they just moved out of Grenada at an early age? As in the case of one of the famous Calypsonians in Trinidad.
You can't stop them.
No.
CARICOM is clear. The law is clear. We have signed on to a treaty. We've signed on to an agreement. And it's very clear. No matter what, these individuals are allowed to go out there and to perform in any CARICOM territory. Once they are a member of CARICOM, they are allowed to go and perform in any CARICOM territory. You cannot stop them. Yeah?
And that's their right to work.
Yeah.
Okay, man. Thanks.
In fact, they can actually take the state of Grenada to court for breaching the CARICOM agreement. Yeah? They can take the state of Grenada to court if they have a show. For instance, if you've booked an artist for a show during that period of time, the 8th to the 13th, I think they said, if you've booked an artist for that period of time, and the artist is now going to lose money because of that, they can take the state of Grenada to court. Or if they are asked to perform in a show in Grenada during that period of time, and because of this nonsense, and I'll call it that, it is nonsense, that Spice Mass is talking about restricting it to 2 artists. If that is the case, then, brothers and sisters, that is serious business. They could take the government of Grenada to court, they could take it to the CCJ, and there have been successful cases by various people in the CCJ who have breached different aspects of the same freedom of movement. So there are countries that have lost cases where they do this kind of nonsense. Why are we setting ourselves up to that? And while they're doing all these shenanigans, no Carnival City. We're waiting for Carnival City. You hear they put Carnival City a particular location in a sort of semi-residential area. You hear all kind of challenge was made in relation to the location of Carnival City, that you shouldn't have Carnival City there, and all this kind of thing. And probably whatever challenge legally or otherwise was made, you can't open Carnival City. You didn't have a second option to say, well, okay, we're going to go here or we're going to go there. All sorts of so no Carnival City. You can't even see a road show. You're having to launch a carnival. You launch carnival. You don't even invite the person who won the Soca Monarch, Terra the Governor. This reigning Soca Monarch, you didn't invite him to the opening of carnival. You in St. David's, you're launching carnival in St. David. While you're launching carnival in St. David, you ain't asked Lil Natty and Thunder. Lil Natty singing since he was a child. Since he been a child. Natty Nuclear Dread Adamant, since he's a child. You understand? He's been involved in this for many years. So what nonsense is that? You can't be doing this kind of foolishness. Some sort of thought needs to go into these things, and they need to understand the law, because in the same way that it seems as though our dear Prime Minister, because you know in North Korea they say our dear leader, so here we have our dear Prime Minister, does not understand the GDB law, and he doesn't understand that it is illegal for members of the legislature to take to take loans. In the same way, excuse me, In the same way, he doesn't understand that. It seems it's the same way that he doesn't understand. Even though he's coming in as the chairman of CARICOM, it does not seem as though he understands what he is becoming the chairman of, some of the rules governing it. It doesn't seem as though he understands. But folks, I'll take your calls, 440-7377-347-329-3101. Yeah, let me take some of your calls and drink some water to make sure you know.
How I marveled at the culture of this beautiful island. How we fight so hard to save those traditions. It is amazing how throughout the years the culture has evolved. And today we see most kayaks are involved. From the building of a tomb to the gathering from a room, you hear this.
440-7377-347-329-3101. They need to remember Chapter 3 of the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas provides for the free movement of skilled community nationals, Article 46, as well as the free movement of non-wage earners, either as service providers and or to establish businesses, including managerial, supervisory, technical staff, and their spouses and immediate family members. Yeah? You can't tell these artists that they can't go. You could tell an African artist that. You could tell an American artist or Canadian, but you can't tell a CARICOM artist that they can't come. You're out of order, or you don't know that you can't do it. If I was the guys with Voicey show and I realized that all you're trying to pull off, why is it that you didn't pull it for 2 weeks and say for the 2 weeks, the week before Carnival with Rainbow City and everything, and the week of Carnival? Why you didn't say for 2 weeks? Why it is only between that specific period of time, the 8th to the 13th? The same time that the chairman of the Spice Mass Board show taking place. Good, all of you are smarter than everybody in this place, sir. And then up comes the Prime Minister with the caveat of if you had already negotiated. Well, in the case of Pure White, it could very well be a case that they already organized and so, and nobody, let me make it clear here, because some people so thin-skinned that they like to believe that, oh, you're attacking them and you're attacking the show. No. If people want to go to Pure White, go. It has been a nice show. I've been to it a couple times before. I've been to White in the Moonlight when it used to have White in the Moonlight there. I've been to Pure White. I love both of them. Yeah, and I will never tell anybody don't go any show. But don't take us for fools and think we don't see what you're doing. Yeah, don't feel you're taking us for fools and we don't understand. Remember, it's the same chairman of the Spice Mass right now and others that was fighting on White in the Moonlight during the period of time of the last NDC administration, you know. But you know the funny thing with that? Guess who the lawyer was for White in the Moonlight at that period of time? It was a lawyer from the East. At that point in time, they knew very well about the CSME and CARICOM and all kind of. They knew very well at that point in time, you know. For 440-737-7347. Yeah, that's what's taking place with that. You understand? And then with the True Blue Roundabout, you see they're doing the True Blue Roundabout and that kind of thing, and they're giving the impression, oh, they're just nice enough the place, the trucks can't pass. So they say, oh, come on, all they fooling nobody with that. Heads of government come in, all they want it look a certain way, okay and all right. How are they going and finish it by next week and get plans to grow? That's all you about. Who are they fooling with that? Hey. Yes, my friend. I remember, yeah. And we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
That's unexpected. Sheldon, good night. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine, bro. How are you doing?
There's too blessed to be stressed, my brother.
Of course, all the time.
Listen, Grenada has a surplus of finances from the CBI. So we're trying to give the Caribbean artists who are slated to perform and would be denied a little piece of the pie, just as they did with the former Flamboyant Hotel. All right?
You have a point there. Because they will win if they take this to if they take this to the CCJ. There's no way that they wouldn't win. They're gonna win.
Correct. Because there is a free movement between the CARICOM countries of skilled laborers or CARICOM national from one country to the other country. Once he doesn't have a criminal record, you are allowed to go into a Caribbean country once you got a skill and utilize it. And with the fact with the RTs, it boosts tourism to Grenada. Because if, for instance, you have, and I'm going to just put it in the area, you have Bungie Garland, who I know is always in Grenada, coming to Grenada to have a show for X time for Carnival. And then on the other hand, you have a reggae artist coming to same time to have the show. Somebody who may not want to come in Grenada may say, I was seeing these guys, maybe I should go to that show. It's revenue building for Grenada. All right? We are being put in the forefront. Somebody who have never come, and that could be that person come down there for 3 days or 5 days, whatever, and you don't know what it may lead to. They will come back probably with their family, spend a week. It's money into the country. So I can't understand why you want to put a restriction on the artists coming to perform for Carnival. It's mind-boggling.
And you see, I believe in the concept of one region, one carnival, several locations. Each carnival has its own unique, for instance, I believe that we really have one carnival, but you have different locations for that one carnival. So you have Trinidad, they have their own unique way that they have their carnival. Grenada has its own unique. You don't see the jab and the traditional mass and the energy that we Grenadians have from morning to night. Carriacou has its own unique way. So it's one carnival, different locations. I remember Bobby Steele always saying that years ago, and I agree with it. It's one carnival, but different locations. Barbados has its own thing.
Because
Guyana,
if you go to Notting Hill, it's different to what you get down in what you would get in Carabana or what you would get for Labor Day. All right. Again, it's one carnival. It's just different. The different aspects of it. You get Crop Over in Barbados. You get Vincy Mas. You get Grenada Carnival. All around the scene, everybody has something unique to offer. And if you can get somebody to, it's, you may want to protect the artists from Grenada, but as you rightly said earlier on, our artists get exposure by going and perform with guys from these countries. You may be an opening act, or your music is thing everybody wants to see you. All right. Oh, who's the person that sang that song? And come on. Is these guys really thinking?
And you see, it gives an opportunity as well for the younger artists here. There may be an artist that's regional, for instance, a Bungie or a Fian. A young artist here may want to be able to say, hey, I was on the same stage with Bungie and Fian. And also you meet them in the background, you get to talk with them. They give you some insight into how to do what they've been doing and so on, but in the Grenadian way. So, come on, it's important. I don't think this was properly thought out.
Well, is anything for the past 2 years properly thought out in Grenada?
You're sure right.
Is anything properly thought out? You just think about something and you do it overnight. All right, okay. As you say, knee-jerk reaction. All right? To the diddle and to the dumber. All right? Okay, let's do this without thinking what is the long-term effect of it. Without thinking what's the repercussion. You just do it because you have the authority, you're in control.
Yeah.
You know, you're the head nigger in charge, so you do as I say and don't do as I do.
It's sad, my
But
friend. It's
they're
very
going to
sad.
be a lot of repercussions.
Yeah, there are consequences to
again-
these things. There are consequences to these things.
There are consequences.
Yeah. And they can very well find themselves in front of the CCJ. Because I'm also hearing that there was supposed to be a show on Carnival Saturday night as well, but that the committee refused that. And again, you can't have a man who have a show taking place on Carnival Saturday night being part of a committee that refusing to allow other people to have a show on Saturday night. Yeah, you can't have that kind
Conflict
of thing.
of interest.
Yeah, well, this government is basically a conflict of interest government. You know, every one of them in some sort of conflict of interest. Yeah.
Conflict of interest.
If it's not having hired the close family members as advisors or the boyfriend as advisors and so on, it's that they are CBI agents while they are the ones giving concessions. It's all kind of thing taking place. All right, my friend.
I mean, it's we preach the choir. You preaching more than the choir. For whoever have ears to hear, and nobody would say, all right, before we do this, let's take an objective look at it. What is gonna be the repercussions if we take this road?
Mm-hmm.
You're giving free advice.
They don't like free
Unlike
advice.
the prime minister, you'll have to pay him to get advice. You giving them free advice.
They ain't like free
Alright,
advice,
and-
brother.
Nobody wants to take it. All right. That's why Camille just tell you talk too much. Don't give them no advice.
Well, the name of the program is Talking Points, so I had to talk.
You have to talk.
Yes,
that's what I was just going to say. Then again, that's the name of the program, Talking Points. So you have to talk the points, put the points out there.
Yes, indeed. All right, my brother.
Thank you,
Thank
my
you so
brother.
very
Have a
much.
good night.
Same to you. All right,
All
folks.
right.
And folks, I wanna to mention something else here. We have people who always talk about illegal and who doing illegal and these kind of things. Now, I've seen something. Let me take this call and then let me clear here and let me take this call and then I'll get back to that particular one. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, nice program, interesting.
Thank you.
Who is the chairman of the Carnival Committee here in Grenada?
That is Mr. Kurt Ross, is the chairman of the Spice
Right,
Mass.
so that's the same guy who had the white show.
Well, I hear he has separated himself, but Masabul Masako, you can't separate yourself totally from it if you're still earning from it.
So, okay, with that said, is he the one that is creating this situation where only two artists are allowed to perform between the 13th and the 8th and the 13th? I have that right?
He is the chairperson of the board that has made that decision.
Okay. And the Prime Minister just put it out.
Now remember, when a similar situation was occurring back in 2012, and the same Kurt Ross and others were trying to get rid of White in the Moonlight from having their show. Now, remember who were some of the people that were the lawyers for White in the Moonlight? You remember who the lawyers for White in the Moonlight were?
Trying to.
It was former Attorney General Cadgington Hood and none other than Mr. Deacon Mitchell.
Okay.
Those were the two lawyers for White in the Moonlight back in 2012. Mr. Deacon Mitchell and the former Attorney General Cadgington Hood. Those were the two lawyers that represented White in the Moonlight. They also had the assistance of Dr. Patrick Antwine. And I think I'm going to have to call Dr. Antwine to get some information in relation to CSME and the freedom of movement and so on, because I remember him speaking extensively on the ability of artists to be able to traverse various countries and perform uninhibited.
Okay.
Yeah, so as we would say, what you making there is magie popon.
Well, you saying it that way, so it's like a can of worms they opening up this thing they're doing.
Well, I would not say that they don't know what they do, because again, one of the two lawyers who represented White in the Moonlight back in 2012 was none other than Mr. Deacon Mitchell.
Right.
All right, so he's very well aware that you can't just stop these artists from coming, and you can't tell the promoters they can't bring these artists. He knows very well.
So I mean, I recently joined the program, so if I already had let's say I had Bungie, Marshall, and who else? Well,
someone tried to have Marshall, and they refused. They refused permission for Marshall Montano's show on Carnival Saturday night.
No, what I'm saying, if I recently joined, so if I have what I see, I read something on online.
Yeah.
About 2 artists are allowed. But if, let's say, earlier on this year since Easter, I book Marshall, Fian Lyons, Destra, and all these people to come within that period 8 to the 13th. What going on there with what will go on there with my my show when I only allow based on what they put out you only allow 2 artists between the 8th to the 13th.
No, yeah. So what happens there is that according to what the Prime Minister said, I played it a little earlier. When you look back at the show, you'll see it again. The Prime Minister said on a radio program this morning on Power FM with Aruna, I like to give people the credit, right? He did say that if the person has already booked, if a person has already if a person has already booked, then there is a financial implication. In other words, they're going to lose money, or they may be sued or so on for blocking that person time, and so that then they would consider. He didn't say that automatically they won't get it. They could consider allowing that person to bring in those artists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So
let's see how it plays out.
Okay, my brother. Thank you so very much. All right, great. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. I was just about to introduce Sam because it's just 6 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. And I just wanted to show you all something. Now, today, in the Parliament of Grenada, there was an amendment to the fee in relation to passports. So passports, instead of the 5-year passports, you'll now be getting a 10-year passport. And also, in the case of, I think it's under 18, under a certain age, they're going to continue to give them just the 5-year passport. But for adults, you will get a 10-year passport. So when you get your visa and thing, you don't have that back and forth, all those problems. So they're going to give you a 10-year passport. Now, that was passed in the House of Representatives yesterday. Yeah? What they were saying, that was passed yesterday in the House of Representatives. It was passed today in the Senate. It has not yet been gazetted. That is the raising of your passport fee from $250 up to $350, and the increasing the life of the passport to 10 years instead of renewing every 5 years. Yeah? So that was only passed in the Senate today. It has not been gazetted. It has not been assented to by the Governor General. The Governor General ain't signed on that yet. It's not assented. Yet still, people going for passport already being charged illegally so $350. And you can see it here. Yeah? I decided I would remove the name of the individual who paid. But this is a treasury receipt from the government of Grenada. Yeah, you see the official thing there? Nice, yes. A treasury receipt from the government of Grenada by an individual that made that payment today. It's the 26th of June. They made that payment today, right? And it was for $350 illegally, so it should be $250 still. And it is in relation to a passport. Now, this has not even been gazetted. The SRNO in relation to this has not even been gazetted yet. So it is actually illegal until that process is completed to be charging people $350. But this government so desperate for money that today, imagine this thing went to Parliament yesterday and today. So yesterday and today, that went to Parliament. It is illegal. Let me just remind the government, because they like to talk about illegal and who don't know about illegal and this kind of thing. And you're dealing with a person who is the Prime Minister is a lawyer. They're supposed to know better. It is illegal. You cannot be collecting $350 from people for passports until Monday. And only on Monday, if the SRO has been gazetted and the Governor General has given her assent to it. You cannot. Let me repeat. You cannot be charging people $350 already. It is wrong and it is illegal. It's the same thing you all do the other day when you all went and start taking money in relation to the vehicle licensing and you did not yet pass it. So people who ought to have paid at the old rate for the vehicle for 2024 were charged at the new rate before the law came into effect. That is illegal. So you have several people out there who you all have already admitted need to be refunded. Yeah? Several people who need to be refunded. So again, let me just remind, and I'm not blaming the people at immigration. I'm blaming the government. Yeah? Those that in charge that's so hungry for money that they already start to charge people $350. It is illegal to do so. Check the Public Finance Management Act. Check the laws of Grenada. Until such a point in time that this has been gazetted and that you all have received the permission of the Governor General, it is illegal. It is illegal to do so. Yeah? I mean, yeah, it's just a few days, isn't it? It sounds as nothing. But it's these little drop of water that is wear away rock. Because they did this already, you know. When they changed the fees in relation to your vehicle, licensing your vehicle and that sort of thing, when they changed the fees in relation to that, it was changed. But it was not yet gazetted. It was not yet formally put in place. And yet still what happened? They was collecting the money. So people who in the early part of the year went and do the registration and those sort of things, they were supposed to pay at the old level, but they pay at the new level. So I hope that they're going to get that credit when they go back next year towards next year's bill. But they're so desperate. They're so desperate to see how they could get a local 350 extra. All of that, they just watching, you know, yeah. They say, okay, we go hold a local couple million that way there, so you're right. And we go pass a little thing here. Don't worry, don't watch face. We go just tell them, same size passport, just tell them instead of 5 years, 10 years, we add $100 on it. They're not adding additional pages. Are they? They're not adding additional pages. It's the same passport. It lasts for the same amount of time. But they're telling you now you're going to have to pay an additional $100 for it, isn't it? Because it lasts for 5 years more. Right? That's what they're telling you. They're desperate. It's illegal. You can't do it. It is illegal. And all you like to tell people are illegal? Right now it's illegal to do that. Until such a point in time that SRNO is published, it is illegal to collect that money. All right? Just letting them know. 440-347-7-347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of our program tonight. And folks, let me give you all a reminder here, because remember, we have various activities coming up. So let me remind you all of this one.
New National Party New York chapter invites you to their town hall meeting on Sunday, July 14th. Gather with the New National Party at the American Legion Hall, 1130 East 92nd, between Conklin and Glenwood. Come and hear from Carriacou's very own Nolan Cox, the lady Emmeline Pear, Peter David, Dwight Hosford, and the former Prime Minister of Grenada and political leader of the New National Party, Dr. Keith Mitchell. 5 p.m.
is the time. Join us to discuss the nation's business. Add your voice to the conversation. Share your concerns and ask the questions. Voice your opinions. And hey, your presence will make the difference. Looking forward to seeing you there. Remember the date, time, and place. And that is on Sunday, the 14th of July, 5 p.m. Americans Legion Hall, 1130 East 92nd, between Conklin and Glenwood. Grenada's new national party. Moving on, and ain't nobody can stop them now.
All right, folks, so that's the town hall meeting to be taking place on Sunday, July the 14th, up there in Brooklyn. All right, and also, folks, let me just pull the next one up here. Well, St. George Northwest meeting that going on right now, eh? Yeah. I hear it going nice, all right? Yeah, let me play this one for you all. There's another one I need to play for you all. Yeah, let me see if I could get that one there. Right, yeah, let me bring that one up and play that one for you all. Because, yeah, we have to support the different things and them. Right, so you have the Exquisite Affair that's coming up on the night of the 13th. So let me just play that one for you all. Where is it? Yeah, it's right here. Nice.
The new National Party New York Support Group invites you to an exquisite evening of elegance, a formal and all-inclusive affair. Saturday, July 13, 2024, 9 in the evening. Music by DJ Jude and DJ Small Clothes. Tickets $100. Experience delightful entertainment, fine dining, graceful dancing, and lively auction. All at the Legacy Loft, 9302 Ditmas Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11236. Former Grenada Prime Minister and NNP political leader of His Majesty's opposition, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, will be the guest of honor, accompanied by Dwight Horsford, MPs Emmeline Pear and Peter David, and Senator Nolan Cox. An evening you will forever remember. Contact Cathy 347-262-6818. Wendy 917-602-1476. Aisha 917-520-3164. PD 917-642-7187. Or Sharon 862-234-0879. The new National Party, the pride of Grenada.
Yes, indeed. And folks, also remember they have the activity this weekend. That's the Tea and Hat Party. Yeah, the annual Tea and Hat Party. Let me pull it up so I'll go see the thing now, man. Yeah, the annual Tea and Hat Party. And that's taking place on 535 East 19th Street between Newkirk and Ditmas from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's taking place on June the 30th. And of course, they're going to have an open bar. And for children, $25 and adults, $40. And they'll be giving prizes for the best dressed male and female. All right? Yeah, so that is taking place at 535 East 19th Street between Newkirk and Ditmas from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on June the 30th. That's the New National Party New York Support Group, their annual Tea and Hat Tea Party. All right? Yeah, so looking forward to that. And then, folks, don't forget, bingo. Before we go to the next issue, yeah, I must bring that one up, man. Yeah, remind all of the bingo. We cannot go here because a day in the bingo, you know, you will see talking points box day. Yeah, you know we need the donations. We will have the talking points box there, but let's just bring this up for you.
Get ready as the new National Party invites all to its 40th anniversary fundraising bingo event. Sunday, July 14th from 5 p.m. at Victoria Park, Grenville. Over $100,000 in cash and prizes to be won. Imagine you can win a Suzuki Ignis hybrid car, $50,000 in cash, plus other fantastic prizes. Tickets are $60 for one or $100 for two. Free buses will be available island-wide. Don't miss it, or you might just see your neighbor driving a Suzuki Ignis. Sunday, July 14th, we're heading to Victoria Park in Grenville for the new National Party 40th Anniversary Fundraising Bingo.
All right, folks, remember, buses are available island-wide, and I did see the elderly go out today. But I want to zoom it. So, yeah, the new National Party, they did have the elderly ride out today. The elderly, they went various locations. I know they were down Cameron Park and one or two other places. They went around today. So I know most of the elderly, you're back home, you're taking your look at rest and so some of them tired. And then I know right now we also have the meeting taking place up there in St. George Northwest. Folks, the phone lines are open 440-7377, 340-327-3101. Folks, we need to keep an eye, a very close eye, on what is going on with Grenlec. Mark my words. Keep a close eye on what is going on with the Grenada Electricity Services Limited. Yeah? Today, for the first time in the last 2 years, the Prime Minister of Grenada, the Prime Minister of Grenada had a meeting with the staff members. They discussed several issues. There are a lot of issues that were discussed, and so we'll get deeper into that, not tonight, but we'll get deeper into those issues. Yeah, so several issues were discussed in relation to plant maintenance, and well, I hear all sort of thing. I don't know if it was said in the meeting today. I hear that they're taking the person who is in charge of that's why I hear. I tell you only what I hear. I hear on the streets. They say street people say, right. I hear it on the streets that a certain lady who is earning 10 grand right now in charge of the 50th anniversary committee office there, right. I hear right now she might be on her way over to Grenlec as what I think is not operations manager, as one of those manager and them there, I can't remember, personnel manager or something like that. Yeah, I hear they most likely are on their way over into Grenlec. So congratulations to them if it is true. Yeah, congratulations to them if it is true. You go here, they might be on their way over there. But you realize that this administration, this group of people, keep recycling the same people. They keep recycling like it's only a few of them that have the ability to do anything, and they still ain't doing it proper. They're still making a mockery and a mess of these things. Yeah? So, I have some friends that has messaged me some kind of things while I'm doing the program. So I'm hearing that individual HR manager, yes. Hey, and let me say a very special, let me say a very, very special happy birthday to a very, very special gentleman, Mr. Hudson MacPhail. I send the greetings of myself, my family, and the Talking Points family to you, my friend. So we do hope that you have had a wonderful, a peaceful, and a blessed day today, and that you continue to have a blessed and peaceful week. All right, yes, and that you see many, many, many more to come. All right, so that's our birthday greetings going out to Mr. Hudson MacPhail. But folks, are we hearing that? Y'all know I'm talking about Miss Purcell? So we hear, so if you're afraid to call name, Miss Purcell I hear? That is what I hear? So what? Supposed to say I don't hear it? No, I hear that. I hear that how she is going over to Grenlec as the HR manager. And remember, this is after different managers in different departments gone. Various people have gone. There is now the plan. There's something now about renting engines and so instead of buying all kind of nonsense you're hearing. Keep your eyes on Grenlec. There are investigative journalists in Grenada. How many they have? 2, 3? If you have investigative journalists in Grenada, because some people only know how to investigate when one government is in office. Yeah? Can't say that about Linda. She investigating with everybody. Right? And she providing facts. But some people only know to investigate when NNP is in office. And that is why I like Auntie Jenny. What do you have her now as Detective Simon? Auntie Jenny! That person real comical who do that one. But yeah, keep your eyes on what is going on with the Grenada Electricity Services Limited. We hearing talk of instead of fixing and buying, now they're going and rent generator. That is the direction they're going to be heading to, rent generator. We're hearing as well that there's the possibility that there might be people who are interested in buying over majority of government shares and taking over the company, heading right back into what we just get out from again. So we have to keep, the same way we're keeping our eye on what is taking place, our eyes on what is taking place with the electoral office. We have to keep our eyes on what is taking place with Grenlec. You go wake up one morning and hear he gone, because this government doesn't consult. I listened to an interview on the narrative with Mr. Brian Grimes, and he was very critical of the government in relation to the pension issue and the fact that no consultation with his or other unions outside of one meeting last year has taken place, yet a date has been put in place for when pensions are going to be put in place for the same contract workers who, according to the Prime Minister and his Minister of Finance, are there illegally. Because they will say that they're illegal, They are the ones who've been saying that these people are there illegally. Yeah? They say contract work is illegal. And they quoted the Employment Act. All of a sudden, it looked like they lose that page of the Employment Act, so they know that again. These are the same people that have been saying those things. So we have to keep them, or you have to stay on guard, and we have to know what is going on with Grenlec. Because remember, friends, the same person who went to meet Grenlec workers today, don't think he's unfamiliar with those workers. Don't think he's unfamiliar with Grenlec. Remember who was the lawyer? That was the lawyer for Grenlec. Well, basically WRB. Remember who was their legal representative? It's the same person that went to meet with those workers there today. So when they were written to, when they were threatened, when they were treated unfairly by WRB in the past, it's the same person that went and sat down in front there with them. That was the lawyer that was representing the company against them, So don't get it twisted. Keep your eyes on what is going on with Grenlec. And the other thing I wanted to mention tonight, because I know that we're quickly running down, we have roughly just about a half hour remaining on tonight's program, is that I've noted with due concern that this government seems to be very scared of that GDP issue. The Prime Minister, with his false statement where he said that various people are the legislatures, that they are entitled. Entitled, it means they have to get loans from China. It's not true. And we showed you the law because they've got some folks that are out there saying that, oh, we're lying and it have no law. We show you the law, We pull it up. We show you the law that directs the Grenada Development Bank. We told you all this is the law. We showed you the section that says it is illegal for that to happen. And as such, since the Prime Minister has doubled down on this nonsense with GDB, the New National Party continues to call on every minister who has illegally obtained loans from the Grenada Development Bank to immediately resign. This is not no if, what, or but about it, They have committed an illegal act. That is what you call misbehavior in public office. In any country on earth, these people would have been kicked out of parliament already. Any decent country they would have be kicked out. Grenada is a decent country, we just don't have a decent government. So these individuals, we cannot expect them to do what is right. So various measures will have to be taken in a legal sense to make sure that they go. Because it is illegal for the ministers who have approached and received loans from the bank while sitting as ministers. It is illegal to do so. And the board of directors as well needs to get up, pack up, and leave. Because they have facilitated misbehavior in public office by sitting cabinet members. So the sitting cabinet members who have illegally obtained loans from the Grenada Development Bank, the bank that's supposed to have that money there for when the farmers go, for when the fishermen go, the millions of dollars that they have taken illegally, misbehaving in public office. These individuals need to go. No if, what, or but about it. I think we like to play around too much with things in this place. Time we get serious. Because you, after this illegal thing has been done, after you have pointed out that it is illegal, you have an individual who, again, is a lawyer trying to convince you that what he knows, because he can't say that he does not know the Prime Minister. Mr. Prime Minister, you can't say that you don't know. You can't say that you don't know. Because in pointing it out, it has been pointed out that which section of the law exists. So if you don't know, it is willful ignorance on your behalf. Or you just don't care. But the members of your cabinet, be assured, the members of your cabinet who have illegally obtained loans from the Grenada Development Bank, their time in Parliament short. No if, what, or but about it. They had to go. Not they might go. Not they could go. They have to go. Whether by resignation or legally being removed. But they have to go. And the board of directors that facilitated that, they have to go too. All man jack. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Yes, good night.
Good night, my dear. You go right ahead.
How are you? Let me tell you something. You have a wonderful program. And you see what happened with your program? They don't like the truth. And if we don't listen to you, we don't know what's going on in the country. Because the people are then going out there, they don't coming back with nothing. So they sit down and they're telling themselves now, why Keith Mitchell was in power? What is to do to get when he go and beg, he get in? Eh? They want to like Keith Mitchell. Go out and beg, they go and see what they go get, but they don't go in and they come up with nothing. If we don't listen to you, we don't know what's going on in the country. And you see what happened to some of the Grenadians, we too hypocrites. They glue them all because they say, oh, some of them are saying, NEC doing a good job, they're doing well. What well they're doing? Putting holes all in mountain, putting holes all in highway and byway. That is what they're doing. And what about the poor people? Look, the little road work, Carnival come in, they take it away from the poor people. The money was circulating on the ground. Things bad, people crying. So at least you got to do better than that.
Well, my friend, you know, usually around this time, so you have some little road work and so because you know people have graduation, they have registration in the school, they have graduation, they have different things. So you usually try to put out a little road work around now, so people have a little dollar in their pocket. Not these people, didn't care about that.
Look, passport now, $250 per passport. What about me? I got a single parent and I have to get the passport. What going to happen? These people are already yet, you know. These people are just don't pack up and leave and go. They don't already yet, and Grenadian people. He was keeping Michelle and was there, I hear them. They go into the plaque and demonstrate all about it. It is a black. They don't say nothing because what I say, like Jesus. The best Mitchell and they like it. That is the worst Mitchell I ever see. So I remember mind when 2008 we catch him in hell those people when they was in power. And 2020 that is same thing we just selling. So nothing bad. The same thing going on. I want to supply and they to full a pocket of money. That a big friend, they go say, all right, but let me give you a little pull in, let me get something. They were talking about me and you, so the poor class of people, we're not poor and vulnerable again. They're going to the rich and the high up class of people that they're talking about now. They don't care about us. We need time to open our eyes. Time to open our eyes and go out and get ourselves ready. Stand, vote. Vote these people out of office. They don't go. Let me stop and have a good night.
All right. Thank you so very much, my friend. Yes. So again, I'll repeat. The members of the legislature, the 3 or so cabinet ministers who have illegally obtained loans from the Grenada Development Bank. should immediately resign, or the Prime Minister should at least have the common morality and decency to fire them. Yeah? And at the same time, they should return the funds to the Grenada Development Bank as soonest. Yeah? If all you can't do it one way, we will work a payment plan with all, you understand? But the amount of money we hear all you making there, outside of the normal stream of things. Because we're hearing about different ministers we might have to call Mr. 10%. Yeah? We're hearing ministers that we might have to call Mr. 10%. You might even have people you have to call Mrs. 10% too. So we're hearing Mr. and Miss 10%. Because if a project is taking place under their ministry or within their constituency that they have oversight, we hear things at the past, you know. That project ain't taking place just so, you had to run it. So I hear, that is why I hear on the streets. I always on the streets, you know. On the streets more than vagrant. Always outside. Yeah? So we hear. So again, when we look at what is taking place with the Grenada Development Bank, imagine, we are hearing that one particular minister who has a multi-million-dollar loan, multi-million dollars in loans from the Grenada Development Bank, that one of the pieces of security that that individual has used has now been sold, and it was not sold by the bank. We do not know if the funds from that sale were used to settle the indebtedness to the bank. And most likely it has not been used to settle that indebtedness to the bank. That is where you call manger papa. Yeah? Mr. Speaker, tell me I can say it now. Manger papa. A little bit of patois is allowed. Yes, you're speaking the King's English, but a little bit of patois is allowed. You see, the problem with these individuals, why they're acting so in Parliament, is because these individuals, remember, they were never interested in these things before, you know. They never used to spend time in youth parliament and all kind of thing. Dr. Mitchell speaking, they're trying to get up on a point of order that is not a point of order. They're trying to get up on a point of clarity that is really a point of order. They don't know what they're doing. Yeah? If they had spent a little time in youth parliament, or they used to go in the parliament and listen before, they might have learned a thing or two. But with their rude and fresh self, they want to play the saying, oh, this or that taking place in parliament, and how, oh, people, come on, man. Are you pulling document and read? Listen, when we, prior to 2008, staged the first series of youth parliaments around the island. We had youth parliaments around the island. That was prior to the 2008 loss of the New National Party at the polls. I was in the Ministry of Youth, and we had youth parliament around the island. That was the first time it came out from having youth parliament one location, and you had it different locations. We had it in St. David, St. Andrew. We had it in St. George. I remember we had it in the TAMCC facility over in Old Trafford. In St. David, we had it at the Wester Hall Secondary School. I'm trying to remember the location. We had it for St. Andrew. We had it in St. Patrick at the RC School, I think. We had it in Carriacou as well. Yeah, so we had it at various places. And you know what? Those young people, even back then, knew that you couldn't come and read a speech. You could refer to notes. That's in the procedure of the parliament. You can't come and read a document just so, unless you ask for permission to read the document, and you have to provide copies to everybody, because you could say whatever in a document, the others, no, sometimes you have to stop the sitting, go and get copies and pass it. I've seen that before. I've seen that happen in Parliament before, that you have to go and get copies and put it all over. Yeah? So, my goodness. Let's go to the phone line. We have a caller online. Hello, good night. Hello? Let's go to the phone line. Hello? We have a caller. Good night. Hello? Hello? Let's go to the phone line. Oh boy, that caller. Hello? Good night. Hello? Hi, good night. I don't know what I'm hearing. Yes, we're hearing you. Go right ahead. Hello, we're hearing you. You can go right ahead. Oops, they hung up. Yeah, so we'll have to call back. Yeah. 440-7377. Yeah, those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah. There are procedures to how things are done in Parliament. And if they don't understand parliamentary procedure, they need to spend some time reading the statutory orders. Hello, the standing orders. Hello, good night.
Good night, Mr. Sheldon Scott.
Hey, good night, Cammy. How are you?
Good night to the Grenadian people, home and abroad. We just come out from the meeting. It was wonderful.
All right, lovely.
Wonderful. I just stepped in, I feel like gone already.
We have a few minutes still.
It was all right,
Yes.
Yes, we had a nice turnout. I just want the people to know. NNP strong. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, NNP strong. We just have to keep the faith and NNP steady. We have to get rid of these henchmen and them that they making mischief and doing the wrong thing to us. And we have to go for that the election sheet with all the names. Because you have a lot of people here. They have Guyanese, Jamaicans. They have Puerto Ricans. They have Mexicans. They have people from Russia. These people in Grenada. So we have to always look at the list. People see a strange name. Find out where they live in, who is that person. You understand? Because they will use the people. They have to be living in Grenada here, Is have to vote. And we have to know the name and know them. And if they're living in Bushaju, if we see the name and Bushaju and we don't see them, then we have to say, forget that. So we have to be careful. We have to country. We have to rescue Grenada and the people of them. Because Michelle and the gang. Anyhow, everybody, good night. Patricia, good night. Good night.
All right,
and
my
Mr.
dear.
Watt and everybody. I feel happy for the little turnout. Mr. Davo, and you have a few members from Gulf that come, Miss Modest, Miss Peddy, she's a wonderful job. And Dr. Michelle is right. It's fantastic black man. Man Jacob, they make it in Parliament, are you? And you know why it's man Jacob? When you get mud, you making mud cake, you making mud lady. Yes. Good night to everybody. I'm going to rest my old foot.
Okay, Cabby, you have a good one.
Darling.
All right, my dear.
Yes. Man Jacob, they don't like that name.
Yes, indeed, folks. 44073, and I think we have a call hotline. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, I know that voice.
Good night, sir.
How are you?
Good night to the family, to all of the listeners, and the Talking Point family.
Dr. Modest.
It has been a while.
Yes.
I have been missing in action.
And I'm asking for you the other day,
I know, but I was missing in action. Afterwards, when I heard you were closing up, so I did, yes. Now, I just want to say something, a quick thing, because I know the time is short. Now, the bills yesterday had 28 clauses that were changed,
Mm-hmm.
And so, the content of the change was to increase the fine and to increase the incarceration or the imprisonment.
Mm-hmm.
That was all. So after the presenter of the bill spoke to every one of them and say, well, 50,000, increase to $50,000, a ceiling of $100,000, or 5 years imprisonment, or whatever, there was absolutely nothing for the opposition to say on that. But when a bill comes, as you know, Sheldon, you don't only have to speak to exactly what is said on the bill, but what is related to the bill.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, if we are saying that you cannot only think of putting young people in prison because you would not be able to build enough prisons, you have to think about how you prevent them from from going into prison, how you give them other alternatives, how you train them to have conflict, be able to resolve conflict, how you give them hope, how you give them the program that either you took from them or you replace those programs like the Imani and the Empower and the soft loans for young people to give them an opportunity to improve themselves. That is what you have to talk about. So, the point I was making was that we have an agenda item on the program that says ministerial statement. So I thought a minister would have come and say, well, look, we know that bill deals with imprisonment and so on, but our aim is not just to put young people in prison. But this is what we're doing. This is what Cabinet has taken decision on. We're going to either bring back the Imani that was so effective and the Empower and other things, or we have new programs that we're going to try for youth. But we're going to offer them some alternatives to walk in the pathway of the gun crime and the shootings and the killings and so on. And as I told the Prime Minister, he as Minister for National Security and the Prime Minister of the country should have told the nation what is he going to do to ensure that less guns get into the hands of less youth and give them something more, morally of a higher level for them to associate with that could build them and their families. So that was related to the bill, although that was not what or the wording of the bill, but it could have been said we're doing other things to lessen the incidence of gun crime, especially, but all other crimes to get people out. Mm-hmm. So I know there isn't much time, but there was saying that we did not read the bill. We read the bill, and there was only one line in the bill to increase penalties. And we're not saying they should not increase penalties, but we are saying that you must, along with it, put other things in place that could prevent that and give youth a better life. They gave the youth one additional year in school. And up to now, months later, there is absolutely nothing that gives a content and a context to why they're giving them the extra time and what they're going to do with the extra time. There is absolutely no plan up till now. And students are graduating, and they have a year in front of them for which they know absolutely nothing that is going to happen for them. So with that, I'm going to pause until the next opportunity on your program.
Let me answer. I'm not letting you run away so fast. Let me ask you a question, though. Now, they speak about the fact that people are caught with firearms and they're out walking the street, and so they've amended bail in relation to that. What about people who rape little children? What about rapists, multiple rapists, like the three people that went and killed the two tourists? What about them? What about people like that? So it's only for gun crimes?
Violation on a woman, is it less aggressive and less hurtful to the victim? I mean, yes, a life is a life and very, very valuable and important. Mm-hmm. But a person's dignity is very important. And sometimes when you take that, it's almost as though you took a life, because some people's lives are destroyed by those kind of affronts on their bodies. Mm-hmm. So, mentally, and if you say, and it's mandatory, mandatory imprisonment for everybody, no bail. But then people who commit murder are on bail. People who commit rape and other assaults on other people are on bail.
And not just on bail, allowed to go back in the same communities that they've committed the crime in. You have people that rape a child and go back, they come out on bail and go back in the same community.
So how can this government convince us that they really care about people and how people live and the quality of the life of people just by increasing the penalties? That alone can't cut it. I'm not saying they're wrong to do it, but they have to come with something better than that. The Grenadian people deserve much more than that. And that is our point.
Yes, indeed. Because I'm very interested in knowing why, if we're worried about criminals being back on the street, that we're only worried about one category of criminals because that is the one everybody talking about. Meanwhile, people in danger from people who, you might find a person with one bullet, yes, and you say, okay, that person's a criminal, no bail. But a man that raped 2 children is out on bail and in the community where he has done the same thing.
So
They have to make that make sense to me. Because they really don't care. It's just optics.
For your next program, you need to remind the public and the listening public of the horrifying statistics of domestic violence in our country, of the statistics of sexual assault, the number of children who are sexually assaulted that have to go to court to their assizes, and you want to tell me that is not important, and we couldn't bring a law for that, a legislation, we couldn't strengthen it, we couldn't strengthen the penalties, because some of the penalties are just a slap on the wrist. So we have to look at crime in general. Yes, gun crime has escalated, and we must deal with it too. So I'm not saying it should not be dealt with, but there are a number of things that hurt the Grenadian people that must be dealt with subsequently or alongside that legislation. That one standalone legislation will not cut it.
Oh boy. All right. Doc, thank you so very much. I know you're on your way up because I assume that you also just came out of that meeting in Happy Hill.
You're minding my business, man.
I've been watching pictures.
Yes, well, we're there and doing our best because we realize that we have to save Grenada.
Yes,
and
indeed.
We are all committed on the NNP side. So good night to everyone. Good night to the family of Talking Points and all others listening. I know you have a wide listenership, and I just hope that those who listen can spread the word. We need to spread the word. Those who are sleeping need to wake up that we're losing our country under the NDC. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much. At 440-7377, we want to thank Dr. Modest for taking the time to call us here. You know, we always can call. Listen, if it's one thing, just call on Dr. Modest. We call on Dr. Mitchell, whoever, you know, Brother Oliver, whoever, just call on them and they're always willing to give us some of their time and speak with us. Yeah. So, folks, let me just go over some of the things that we mentioned today, especially for those of you that may have joined late. Yes, you can go back and look over the program, but still, one, don't get tricked. As the elder people that say sometimes, don't get tricked. The young people, sorry, don't get tricked. Yeah? This thing about between the 8th to the 13th, you can't bring in more than 2 regions is nonsense. It's basically illegal. You can't tell them that. You can't tell no promoter that. Yeah? You may have a particular idea. You may have a particular direction you would like to head. But that don't mean that you could do that. All right? We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, brother. Go right ahead.
Yeah, brother. I just drop in. I say I must come and say good night to my Talking Points crew. And I say good night to Miss Cami, good night to Miss Cathy, good night to Miss Wendy, and good night to everybody on the Talking Points Live. Sheldon, here's what. We good in it. You know what? I think everybody in Grenada are blind. You ain't believe it? Because apparently NMP do nothing, NDC do nothing. But you're going. If you have a stick, a walk stick, you can walk and see what's happening. But apparently, the NDC people and them do have a walk stick. And I'm making this comparison. You know why? Again, today, I saw on social media a member of parliament, a prominent member of parliament, and apparently in times acting prime minister who they push up into our face as Andy Williams, saying that we don't read it. So I'm asking again, Brother Andy in the South, did you read number 5 the section number 5 saying legislators or members of the legislative, you're not supposed to get loans. Right? Neither board members, neither family. For some reason, there's no how. Deacon Mitchell, Honorable Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, can defend this thing. No. And I want a press conference from Miss Claudia Joseph, Advisor, Attorney General, Legal Affairs. Please come to us and tell us why you find it very fair to say that, because she not coming out and say nothing. Your Prime Minister went on a program and said that, and nobody inflagged that. But yes, the commissioner right. Prime Minister the commissioner right. The most honorable the commissioner right. And here's what. This thing about the most honorable, I would like every one of us to know, when you are entitled to the most honorable name, understand when and why and how it comes to you. The commissioner is not the most honorable, like Dr. the Honorable Keith Mitchell. Not the most honorable, Deacon Mitchell. Honorable Deacon Mitchell. Honorable Andy Williams. Not the most. So folks, go online and read up how the Westminster thing work, and then honor people that needs honoring. But right now, corruption, open gate.
All right, thank you. 440-737-734-7329-310. Oh, I'm saying that, and I could only take one more call if the person called within the next 2 minutes, and they'd have to say what they have to say within a minute or so. Yeah, they'll have to call us now. But remember what I'm saying, that they feel they're smarter than everybody. So they always trying, there's always something behind what they're doing. So people see they're fixing the road in True Blue and they're fixing roundabout and all kind of thing. And they're telling people, oh, it's because of the trucks and so that passing and they have to fix there and all kind of thing. They wouldn't tell people it is because of the heads of government meeting is the reason that they're doing that. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, my dear. How are you?
Not too bad. I would like to know what Ms. Delma Thomas was talking about. I didn't get it too right. I don't know if she was mumbling, fumbling or something, but I didn't get it to understand what Ms. Delma Thomas was talking about,
I just had difficulty listening to that individual in Parliament, because, one of the things I've always tried in life not to be, and maybe many things, a hypocrite is now one of them, and I can't listen to hypocrites talk. So I find it very difficult to listen to that individual in Parliament. Even outside.
To be honest, I used to listen to her when she was on the NNP side, but I never could have understand most of the words that she's talking. But another thing again, as the gentleman said, Ms. Claudia Joseph, I have a problem with her. She needs to come and say something, because when NNP was in power, she had running her mouth all over the world about Dr. Keith Mitchell. And they what citizen by investment program. Now I see they want the passport thing that Ms. Claudia Joseph, Mr. Tillman Thomas,
Well, Mr. Tillman Thomas has no moral authority to tell anybody anything. And don't worry, the time will come. I've heard him making various pronouncements, and I'll say it plain. Who like it, who don't like it, don't like it. Mr. Tillman Thomas has no moral authority to speak to anybody on any issue.
Right.
Not at this point in time with what is going on in this country, and he remains silent. He has no moral authority. In fact, I hear next thing they're looking to do is to knight him. So the next recommendation is to the Queen, is to the King, is to knight him.
Yeah. Okay. When you reach up in the night, there's something you have to do to reach up there, So he do what he had to do to knight him, Right? But Miss Claudia Joseph, she needs to come and tell the nation what's taking place. All the blah blah about the citizen by investment. Now here they say they're having something in the West Tower Secondary School. Where to go for them to tell you something about the passport and how the passport selling and all this. Why they spinning their own self in the mud? No, they're spinning themselves themselves anymore too, man.
Your guess is as good as
They
mine.
try to puzzle people. They was against it, now they for it. Tell us what you're doing, man. Don't throw us back and forth, so, man. I don't like it. And tell Ms. Emma Thomas to explain herself a little bit, so people could understand. You was there, you in the government, the past government. You was all of that, and now you come and talk about against them now. What does Ms. Emma thought?
As I said, I can't listen to hypocrites, so I wouldn't listen.
I have a message to send out to this gentleman that like to go on the NNP heartbeat. What's his name again? I heard him was calling up Mr. Tobias Clement's name and talking about.
Better leave Toby alone.
Tell him, it's because Dr. Mitchell didn't give him what he wanted. He turned against Dr. Mitchell. So behave yourself. Don't let me have to get any case. he been fighting up with this Newton girl in Grenville in Surtees, where she from, and she turned on him. You want to turn on somebody else. Then behave yourself wrong. Leave children.
Oui, Papa.
I'm going to sleep.
Let me go and sleep too, you hear? I'm afraid of you. Folks, that is all the time. Thank you so very much, caller. That is all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. Yeah, Kurt Ross, all you can't fool us, boy. What happened? Because you have Pure White taking place Carnival Saturday night. Waggy can't have show. He can't bring Marshall Montano. This one can't have show. That one can't have show. CSME. One of them need to take all it to court. That is what they need to do and embarrass all you inside there. Right, folks? That's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It's been wonderful being here with you. In everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you, and definitely not about you. I'm going out to some country boys, man. I'm feeling very Carriacou-ish. I feel like I'll go up for the weekend, you know. Yeah, we might have to go and find out who is pink.
This is what we call our way. I remember when I was young, love and music was something I yearned. Needless me to say, that was the music of the day. They used to play a nice melody in G, but that was the sweetest thing for me. And when the song of the banjo hit the air, that was all the people want to hear. Listen to the sound of the banjo, an emulation of Deepwood Moses, played by Carnival. Move your feet, move your waist, sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. You hear banjo? I remember those glory years. Love when music was met with great cheers. No one can deny that the standard was very high. And when you hear Christmas time comes around, look out for your name in the song. With all them women singing, party time, all are we dancing. Yeah, Quattro. Move your feet, move your waist. Sweet music in the place. You can't stand up like a yo-yo. You got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know. You hear tell a coin, Hunky High, Cecil James, Matthew James. That is Carriacou. And that was all now. There must be something hidden in the vibes that have me hypnotized. I went and I did my research. I want to caution my approach. Names like Moses, Feeling Charles, Champion, so much to mention. These men kept the culture and pass it on to us with pleasure. You hear Soldier, you hear Toba, Maracas. There must be something catchy in the song that have me singing along. I feel like I'm out of control. The music hitting up me soul. So rhythmic, so dynamic, simple strings, that's so pulsating. Love when music teaser, you can ask for anything sweeter. yo-yo. In the you got to let your body go. Take a grind, take a wine, take a good grind. Don't waste this precious time. What will happen tomorrow? None of us don't really know.
Grenada. Get ready as the new National Party invites all to its 40th anniversary fundraising bingo event. Sunday, July 14th from 5 p.m. at Victoria Park, Grenville. Over $100,000 in cash and prizes to be won. Imagine you can win a Suzuki Ignis hybrid car, $50,000 in cash, plus other fantastic prizes. Tickets are $60 for one or $100 for two. Free buses will be available island-wide. Don't miss it, or you might just see your neighbor driving a Suzuki Ignis. Sunday, July 14th, we're heading to Victoria Park in Grenville for the new National Party 40th Anniversary Fundraising Bingo.